Alright, what's going on, guys? Today's topic of discussion, or rant, is going to be about American education. And this is a pretty tough topic to talk. I mean, it's not tough to talk about, but it kind of sets me off a little bit because basically, like in high school, like we're taught not like a bunch of useless things, but like a bunch of BS that like doesn't help anyone throughout life at all. Like we got taught like the liberal arts education. And by the way, I want to give credit to JR for giving me this natural leprechaun for giving me this topic today. So basically, like in America, unlike other countries, we are taught things that don't. I mean, like it's liberal arts, but we get taught things that aren't gonna like benefit us later on in life, like at all, because like not like it's useless, like algebra, geometry, and like all that other nonsense, like and all those maths and whatnot. But they don't teach us like about like college finances, how to do taxes, like basically applying for schools, how to do all that stuff. Like I basically had to do all that stuff by myself. I had to learn all that stuff by myself, which I feel like should be so important. And it also doesn't, like high school doesn't help you with like finding a career. In all honesty, like yeah, we take all these classes and like we hope that we enjoy them, but we like it doesn't teach us how. Like, all right, like if you want to do this career, like this is the career path that you want to like follow. Like I know a lot of places outside of America, like Denmark and like Norway. Once you hit, I think your second year of high school or third year, you go into like a specialized school, like a specialized high school that you want to like take a career in. Like in Denmark or Norway, you'll go to like a business type school and finish off and like go to a college of business right after. Like so you keep following that path, and like that's the path that you want to be on. Like for me, I'm a film major. Like yeah, I was granted to have a film class and a great film teacher in high school, but that doesn't mean that everyone else has that opportunity. But also, if I could be on a full film track instead of taking like BS classes that don't help me at all in my film career, I would rather much have done that, like a full film high school. Like imagine that. Like you do 2 years of normal school, like normal high school, get all that nonsense over with. Then for like the last 2 years, you just strictly film, like strictly education, strictly this, strictly that, and then that would lead to so much better. Like basically, like people will pick you up, and like jobs can employ people so much easier, and they can find so many people who are looking like for that type of career. Because instead now it's like you have people coming out of college like basically with essentially useless degrees or not finding a job. And that's not mainly, but like one of the supporting factors is because we're not taught like how to find jobs after college. Like we're not taught. That's what internships are for. But if you ask a high school kid, like, oh, what do you want to intern in? They're gonna be like, what the fuck is an internship? like they don't know at all. And also another big thing is no one teaches us how to like manage a budget or manage anything. That's what kind of bothers me. How like they expect us right out of high school just to be, all right, you guys are good, you guys are golden, do everything. And like I'm just like I was so lost. I had no idea what to do, and a lot of kids have no idea what to do. I mean, it's just one of those things. But it's not. It's like how you take it. Like applying for school and whatnot, and like committing and doing all that other stuff. Like, man, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. That was tough. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Well, I did kind of know. I mean, I was like a mixed bag. Like I didn't know what I wanted to commit to, and I think that led to some problems, which I wish like got cleared up in high school, so I didn't have to waste my time and money. And also, like they should teach you in high school about like taking out loans and paying back loans, and like teach you how to do that, because most people in high school they're gonna be taking out loans to pay for college and whatnot, and they don't teach you how to do that. It's kind of like, oh, you have to fill out your FAFSA, and when I heard this, I'm like, what is that? Like, what is that nonsense? And like, oh, you're gonna have to take out like a loan. I'm like, what is it? Like, why wasn't I taught this? Like, why wasn't I taught like how to apply to colleges? Like, they basically just told us, all right, fill out these 2 papers and we'll send out your transcript. And I thought that was it. I thought that was like, once you did that, like, oh, you're good. But no, there's like so much more to it than that. And that really like sets me off. How all these high schools basically don't prepare you for anything in America. They kind of just prepare you like you just get your high school diploma, and then you're kind of like you're pretty much fucked. Because like if you don't know what to do, you're gonna be stuck. And what happens to people that are stuck? Like, I'm not saying it's bad and like not to go to college right away, but like, yeah, you find a job and then like all this other stuff happens, and then it ends up being like you're sitting over here wasting your time at a dead end job, and you're not getting an education. Like, I feel like, to me, education is the most important thing. Like, knowledge is power. Without knowledge, like, you're not gonna do anything. In all honesty, like. And if we're not taught that, like, if we don't teach the youth that, they're just gonna be ending up like a bunch of, like, scrubs, in all honesty. Like, school's important. It really is. Get an education. Do something with yourself. Like, you make so much more money when, like, I'm not saying, like, you make so much more money than someone without a degree, but if you want to be a teacher or something along those lines, you make bread. If you have a better degree, like a master's and up, like a PhD, like, if you're a professor, oh my god, you're gonna make so much money. And that leads to another thing. The cost of attendance to schools, like colleges, is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, they just keep getting higher and higher and higher. And it just, like, more people are just gonna, like, that means that you're gonna be taking out more loans, and you're gonna have to be doing, basically, like, paying back so much more than you've taken out because of all the interest that builds up. And it doesn't make sense, like, why all these schools are so expensive. Like, so many other countries, like, have free school. Like, yeah, the taxes are higher, but I'd rather pay more taxes and get a free education than be over here, like, you have people trying to ball out and, like, they're half, like, fucking retarded. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know. It really bothers me. Like, you have people going to school paying like 50 grand a year, not knowing what they want to do because they weren't taught in high school what the hell they wanted to do. They weren't brought into that field of knowing. And I think that's such a big issue in today's generation. And I think, like, vocational schools is a great thing. I really do. I think it should be enforced more, and they should have more vocational schools. Like, I don't know why people always, like, in high school, everyone looked down on, like, vocational school. Like, absolutely not. Like, you can't look down on vocational school, because those people are, like, after 2 years, they literally, like, they're following a path that they want to be on. But, like, my high school, they put, like, the kids, like, who were doing real bad in vocational school. I'm like, in my head, I'm kind of like, that's, like, doesn't make sense. Like, if I want to go to vocational school, I should be allowed to. Like, if they had a film vocational school, bet I'd be there in a second. Film and education, I'd be there in a second. Because, in the end, like, I'm learning what I want to do, and I'm sticking to it instead of being in, like, a probability and statistics class, or being in, like, a gym class. Like, what is that gonna do for me? Like, wow, like, I can kick a ball, I can throw a football, I can basically figure out the probability of me not getting into schools. I could figure out the baseball statistics of, like, I don't even know, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, when are you gonna use that? Unless, like, you're into that. But I'm certainly not. Like, I know there are a lot of liberal arts people, like, if you're into science, stick to the sciences, like, but don't force me to take stuff I don't need to take, like, I'm never gonna use again. Like math, I'm never gonna use math. They force me to take math. Like science, I'm probably not gonna use science. They force me to take it though. Like, yeah, it's useful to have, but, like, really? You think I'm gonna, like, if I want to be film and education, you think I'm gonna be needing a fucking math class or a science class under my belt? Absolutely not. And in all honesty, it's all about the degree, not the classes you take. And when I look at film majors in education, they don't require you to take any sciences in college. They don't require you to take any math. Well, yeah, I'm actually in a math class right now, but that's like a prereq. That's like a gen ed, and like, that's obviously mandatory for graduation. But other than that, it's kind of like, all right, you have to do stuff focused towards that, like nothing else, like nothing around that. Like, this is what you're doing, and I think that's so important. And I feel like that's the problem with American education. How we don't start like earlier. We start later, and that is bad. That leads to people not knowing and going to school for no reason. Like you have people who are undeclared majors going to school that costs them $50,000 a year. Like that literally makes no sense. That literally makes no sense. Like you're literally going to school for nothing. You're undeclared. Like and if you don't declare a major, they just put you in humanities. Like what? What are you gonna do with humanities? Nothing. Communication, same thing. Nothing. Communications degrees and humanity, like you could teach it. That's about it. But like, I mean, same thing with film. Like, you can only be in the film industry. That's why I'm doing film and education. Because like, worst comes to worst, I'll just teach it and become a film professor. Because I'm trying to get my master's in digital cinematography. And having a master's under your belt is bread. But yeah, it's just more school. It's more work. But you have to be willing to put in that work, which a lot of people aren't willing to do. Because a lot of people like get discouraged when it comes to college and whatnot. And I think that's terrible, how everyone thinks like, oh yeah, like college is gonna be just like high school, like, and I hated high school. Like, no, it's not. It's like you make your own schedule. Like, you go to class when you want to go to class. Like, you do this. Like, you do what you want to do. It's not like this is a set program. Like, this is what you have to do. And it's just so different. You meet so many new people. You do so many different things. Like, there are clubs and all this other stuff. It's not like high school at all. And the fact that like the American children and like the American public even is so discouraged by it. But the one thing that bothers me are the people who want free tuition. Yeah, no. Like in America, free tuition, like, yeah, that sounds nice. Like, I wish. But like, it's not something that's gonna happen. Like, but and then another thing that bothers me are all the people who are like, oh, you like these people want free tuition but they don't work. Like, that's the thing. Like, the reason why a lot of people want free tuition is so they can get an education, so they can work, so they can do something good with themselves. Not to like, oh, to go party and whatnot, not to do all that, but like, those who want free education want it to better themselves. And a lot of people don't understand that. And I think that's also another problem. But that's the American education for you. Lord knows what's going to happen next with the upcoming generation. The bunch of degenerates that they might be, that some of them are really good, but a lot of them are just like, they're like, F school, F this, like, drugs, because like, that's, I don't understand, like, yeah, that's like what all like the people are doing now, but that's so wrong, and I wish things could change. I really do. I mean, this wasn't like type of a rant. This is kind of just me talking. I'm like kind of upset about this. Not like upset, but like, I just wish I knew, like, what to do. And a lot of people wish they knew what to do before they went into like college and how to do everything. But that's it for this episode, guys. Big out 227, obviously. Heading out. Like, subscribe. Do you guys do best? Stay frosty.